All right. It's us again. Last week kind of sucked. I'm not going to lie. All the stuff that I wanted to happen did not happen. All the stuff that I didn't want to happen fucking happened. So here we are, the conference NFL championships. It's Be All In Sports. Brady and Josh, we're back again, bringing you some more sports excitement, some action. Tears are coming out of my eyes on the back end because the season's almost over. And if my team is not in it, then this is what I have. So here we are, people. We're here to make money. That's it. I'm going to be quite honest. I am not a fan of any of these teams in there now. This is strictly betting purposes and watching for entertainment now at this point because my teams are gone. Hats off to the Commanders. You won a nice game, assholes. That was pretty impressive. I'm impressed that you took the Lions down like that. But we'll be back next year. Everything will get back in. Maybe I'll get both my AFC and NFC team in for next year. So that's what I'm hoping. But here we are, conference championships. We've got 2 awesome games coming up to talk about. A lot of information on these games. There's some question marks coming around all these games right now. I'm continuing to hear new injury news that's popping up, giving you little, hey, this guy is now popping up on the injury report, and it's one of our main characters in this week's action. So we'll discuss all that. We will get into these games, but Josh, what'd you say, man?
Well, yeah, it was a surprise last week, and I told you that a road team was going to win. I think everybody agreed it's probably going to be the Ravens. If Lamar Jackson wouldn't turn the ball over, they probably would have won that game. Andrews included as well. I'll say this, though. One of the cool thing is, so did you hear the Bills fans? Because I didn't know that Mark Andrews has diabetes. He's type 1 also. So
No, I didn't know that.
The Bills fans have donated a total of over $80,000 to diabetes research to whatever charity Andrews works with. They've done throughout this week. They've donated over 80 grand. So that's gracious winners. That's a really cool thing. I mean, I get they're kind of,
dude, his girlfriend got like 20,000 death threats.
I didn't know. I didn't hear that. I heard about.
Yeah, it's bad.
Mark Andrews?
It was pretty bad.
Oh yeah, that's probably from Ravens fans, not from Bills fans.
Yeah, it was from Ravens fans. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's the downside of shit. I mean, the guy
fucking
fumbled and
giving out flowers.
Come on, man. Jeez, though, it's a fucking game. I mean, yeah, we all want our team to win, but get over yourself. Good Lord, life goes on. We all want to win our bets. We all want our teams to win. Doesn't happen all the time. Get over it. There's no reason to be death threatening people. That's beyond ridiculous. So I'd focus on the positive. The fans donating 80 grand to diabetes research is pretty awesome. That's cool as shit. Cool. Yeah, I know it's kind of tongue in cheek for him, but it goes for a good cause. And Andrews had a rough game. That's I don't want to be him in the offseason. Ouch.
Understatement.
His girlfriend's probably hot though, so he don't care. Well, I'm sure he does, but I'm sure he'll get over it. I haven't seen her, but he's gonna go back and sit on his stacks of cash, get a yacht and go cruise Mediterranean with his hottie for a month. I'm sure he'll be fine. Mm-hmm. In the long run, it's a game.
He'll live.
Sucks that that way, but I mean, you got to play better. And I had said that Lamar Jackson had thrown 41 touchdowns and 4 picks. Man, that does not continue on. You just don't do that. You do it for a while, but eventually it comes back to bite you. He fumbles, he throws a pick. That's the game right there. That's how football go. That's how it, it doesn't, you just don't keep doing that. And there's more to that point coming on later on. I'll tell you that. But
I gotta say though, man, that catch couldn't have been any more planted right in his fucking numbers, though. I mean,
well, he couldn't have run up and handed it to him any better. I mean,
it was a handoff. It was a handoff.
The only thing I'll say is, and we've watched football for, like I said, I'm at 40 years now. granted, I was young when I first started, but intently and knowing what's going on stats-wise and game-wise, let's say 30 years. I still never understand. The play should have worked. But even when you watch the games and teams do that, not necessarily 2-point conversions, but, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, whatever, and they roll the quarterback out. Well, even all the analysts, Romo, Aikman, all them guys say, why are you you're cutting yourself down to one half of the field? So it makes zero sense. The play call worked. I'll give them that. But in my opinion, you're using only half the field when everybody knows you're going for 2. You're not surprising anybody by doing that. So you're getting 22 guys going the same way. So there could have been a better play call. It was, butt ass cold. Andrews probably catches that ball 99 out of 100 times, though. It just that time, and it was even in his hands, like it was there, and then somehow slippery ball. Oh shit, boo!
Yeah, one, the play did absolutely work. He was wide open,
right?
And I think in like Ravens' case, if you have Lamar and you've got the opportunity to, I think you create a triple threat, and I think that's why it actually does work in my mind because yes, everybody is rolling with him, but he's always like that threat of him like turning around and going the other way is still always there with that dude, and he's so fast. If they don't cover on the back end, one, you pull all the defense over, and then he actually has the ability to go that route. Yeah. But Andrews, I gotta say, absolutely wide open. The play worked to a T.
It did.
And you couldn't have passed that ball any better than what he did. He put it right where it had to be. All you had to do was just hold on to it, and you're giving yourself the opportunity to get into overtime.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing. It was disappointing because of that ending when I would have much preferred to go a little bit longer. Not only did I have some shit that was riding on going a little bit longer. What did we miss Lamar by like 3 yards rushing?
No, half a yard. I missed him by half a yard.
You missed him by half a yard, but I missed somebody else that if that would have gone to overtime, I think it was Josh Allen. It was Josh Allen for 3 rushing yards.
Yeah.
So
I missed Allen by 20 yards because he only had 20 yards rushing. I had them both at 39.5 because that's the lowest I can go in underdog. And Lamar had 39. And if he'd have gotten 40, I would have hit a really nice parlay, put myself way in the black, and he got 39. And so overtime would have been nice, but what a kick in the dick. Hate that. Half a yard. Come on, man. Seriously? Give me a break.
Playoff times, man. It's weird. It's weird shit. Anything goes and anything can happen. But so let's jump right into to these games, man. I'm excited to get these on.
Yeah.
All right. So first up, I don't know how I feel about this game just yet. I don't know if I feel like this is going to be a really, really good game or if this is going to be kind of one of those that it's like, oh yeah, kind of saw that coming this time. But I honestly think this is going to be a really good game we'll get into why. We have the Washington Commanders 12-5, 5-3 away record going to the Philadelphia Eagles 14-3, 8-1 at home, plus 230 for the Commanders, minus 280 money line on the Eagles. That spread is plus 6. Oh man, over under 47.5. I'll tell you what. Everything depends on the health of people in this game. If that knee injury last week, let me just say the knee injury that Jalen Hurts had looked a lot worse every time I look back and I see how his knee bended. And when he came back in the game, you notice that he's not. They didn't even do the QB sneak right at the beginning. When they normally would have just gone ahead and done that, they held off doing it until it was like last ditch measure. And that is very indicative of what I see coming up, because you've only got a week here, and he has been limited in practice. From what I didn't look at the report today. Did you see what the report said about him today, Josh?
It's the same. He's limited. Again, they're going to keep it under wraps. So yesterday was a walkthrough. Today's limited. Yeah, they're not giving you much information on that. That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm saying. Like, everything depends on his status right now. And now, am I saying that because I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback? No, I do not. And I'm not. I am saying that because he takes so much pressure off Saquon in the running game already with being just a run option quarterback. And I am going to say that just right now, that is going to be a limited option for him this week. Just being the way he's coming into practice, he's not fully practicing right now. That's not going to be your best option for winning this game, is to put him out there in harm's way. If you can manage to win this game, then you've got some time to heal up. You need to get him through this game. And the way you do that is obviously giving the ball to Saquon Barkley repeatedly. I think he is going to have to have the game that he had last week, pretty much plain and simple. And I'm looking at this in one of two ways. This can go one of two ways in my eyes. You got the Commanders here, who are a very motivated team, a young quarterback who's never been in this position. Sometimes these things can miraculously just happen where it's perfect scenario. And this may actually be a perfect scenario, because if you have a hobbled Jalen Hurts, he's not that great in the passing game. I mean, he can do it. I'm not saying he's not bad, but how healthy is A.J. Brown? I know, Josh, you've been commenting on this for a minute. How healthy is A.J. Brown? And
not healthy is my answer.
Yeah, and we already know. I know that Jalen Hurts is not 100%. We know that. That knee injury, I don't care. You can downplay it all you want. It looked pretty bad, and he wasn't moving that great on it. You could tell he was trying to hide a limp. When he came back, he had a brace on. It looked like he was trying to hide a limp. That stuff is the kind of injury that swells up after the game. When you get all your pads off and everything, that injury is going to continue to swell. It's not – you're going to have to ice it. You're going to have to take time off of it. You're not going to just – it's not something you just work out. You know what I'm saying? So you're taking time off no matter what. So you're getting him coming back. I don't know where he's going to be at this point in time. I mean, you got the early game, so – you know, he may be feeling a little bit of that coldness too, seeps in, affects it a little bit too, stiffens up on him. He's not going to be running the ball like he normally would. So you're taking out one of their threats. He's going to have to pass. And if your main receiver is hobbled, Devontae Smith is a great receiver. And I think that he can do some damage here, but the Washington secondary hasn't been doing terrible. And they're not necessarily the weakness. The weakness is the run defense.
Yes.
And it all depends on Saquon. Saquon has done this repeatedly, and I have no doubt that he's going to get his yards. But when it comes right down to it, how effective, they're going to have to find alternative ways to score here. And it's going to come down to, I think, secondary players that are going to have to step up and play a bigger role, or you could see a Washington Commanders win. That defense is going to have to play a huge part. They're going to have to shut down the Commanders. And this team's playing pretty well on offense right now. So it's going to be a tough one. But I am going to go, just due to experience here, the fact that the Commanders do have a majorly deficient hole in their run defense. I mean, it's bad. And if Saquon can perform like this against better run defenses, then I still think that with that line, that he's going to be able to run the ball. Hurts, I think, is capable of stepping up and making some throws when needed. I don't know how, even Goddard's a little bit banged up too. I hope that he's going to be back there, because that's going to be a big piece of who Hurts is going to have to look to. I think that Goddard is going to be a big game plan piece in this. And I obviously Saquon Barkley is going to be the biggest piece. If he performs, the Eagles should take this victory. But as far as this +6 spread, I think the Commanders can keep it close. I think this is going to be a game that I can see them at least bringing themselves back late in the game. I don't think the Eagles, like I said, if you can minimize the Eagles scoring due to them not having a full healthy team, I think that you can cut down their scoring a little bit and possibly sneak in. And that would be my bet on this one. As far as if I was going to take a straight bet, I haven't put this in, I'll be honest with you yet, but I like the Washington +6 spread on this, man. I do like the Eagles to win the game, but I like them to win by a field goal. So I like the Washington spread. And I think even if you do get that miracle that, the Eagles are so banged up that it just isn't moving this time, the Commanders come in, score a lot of points. I've left myself open for that as well, but I think they can keep this game close. I think it's going to be a barn burner a little bit, and I like the +6.
Yeah, you actually stole my thunder there because that's actually my favorite bet in this game too. I mean, think about the Commanders. First of all, they're the only road team to win a game in these playoffs, and they've done it twice. And they went on the road and beat the Lions despite giving up 200 yards rushing to the Lions, and they still shut them down. And the Eagles, I think, they're battered and bruised, man. The Lions are on defense. The Eagles are on offense. So we just saw last week the Commanders were able to kind of have their way with the Lions defense due to turnovers. But there's no telling that there's no reason why the Eagles can't turn the ball over just as well. Saquon can get his 200 yards, and he probably will. I mean, I'll chalk him up for 150 yards total from scrimmage. That's going to happen. The Commanders can't stop that. But what they can do is they can take advantage a couple different ways. The Eagles lost the Dean guy, their main linebacker. He's hurt. Their secondary is stout. That's going to be hard. And their defensive line's great. Number one scoring off defense, number one total defense too in the last 10 weeks, whatever, since their bye. So their defense is legit. But on offense, you got Hurts, who's hurt. If you want to use a prop bet, go under his rushing yards.
And I know it just keeps going up too. I don't know why. It started at 29.5. It's the last I checked, it was up to 32.5 now.
See, and that tells me that they're just trying to game the system on you, because not only Hurts, but you mentioned Goddard. And now I did read that Goddard's ankle injury is considered minor. They're just monitoring his practice reps. Just so he's healthy. I kind of figured that. AJ Brown, it's been several weeks since he's been down. As far as doing nothing on the field. So one of two things is going to happen. He's going to come out and have the A.J. Brown game we all know about that he can do, 100 yards and a touchdown. That's possible. The Commanders' secondary is pretty legit. They're not bad. They just pretty much, handled the Lions on the road. I believe that at the end of the year, it's going to come out that A.J. Brown probably wouldn't have played if this is weeks 4 and 5, the last 2 weeks, maybe the last 3 weeks. He's got a knee injury.
He's barely playing now.
He's out there. He ain't doing shit. He's, hey man, just go run around and be a decoy. Okay, I can do that. So I think he's hurt, and I just saw today too that their center is questionable as well. That's a big one.
That's big.
Obviously, Hurts and Brown are big too. Goddard's missed time, throughout the years he's been there, and their offense has still been able to be productive. I mean, he's a nice piece, don't get me wrong, but they've tossed in that Calcavecchia guy, and I mean, he's like Goddard 2.0, so he's kind of a replaceable guy. Their center is not. Their center he finished number 13 in offensive line grades, as far as pass and run blocking go. So he's done an admirable job as filling in for Jason Kelce, retiring. If that dude, he's probably going to play from what I'm reading. He's probably going to play, But again, if he's compromised, then he's not going to be as effective. And does he leave the game early and they got a new center? I don't know. So, I mean, and like I said, Devontae Smith, he's a great receiver too, but the Commanders can figure that out and they can say, okay, we believe AJ's hurt. We'll take care of Devontae Smith. Goddard, yeah, he's going to get 40 yards receiving and maybe a touchdown, but let's keep Saquon from getting 300 yards rushing. If he gets 150, I guarantee the Commanders right now are thinking, if we can hold Saquon to like 125 to 150 total yards, and then the rest of the guys do absolutely nothing, which is what they've been doing, we win this game. And so, cool. Give it to Saquon. Saquon can have his 260-yard touchdown runs. That's 14 points. How are you scoring it? How else are you scoring? Hurts isn't throwing for 300 yards. He's not running for 80 yards, especially Hurt.
You wouldn't think, like, unless, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, somebody is going to have to step up, and you would think in this position it would be Hurts, but I don't know. Like,
Hurts is hurt.
I'm going back a little bit, but if it was Phillip Rivers back there, and it was the same type situation, I would have confidence he's going to be able to throw the ball and sit back there in the pocket and still do his job. We did see that, actually, because I think he did actually tear his MCL and then go out and play a conference championship.
No, he tore his ACL. He played on the torn ACL.
ACL. There you go. That's even worse.
It was a torn ACL against the Patriots in the playoffs in, like, I don't know, 07, 08, one of those years. Yeah, he has a torn ACL. He did that.
So, again, Phillip Rivers wasn't a runner, but he could sit back in the pocket and dissect an offense or dissect a defense. Hurts, I don't think it's going to take an amazing game and an incredible effort that he isn't known for putting up consistently. So, again, if you're able, this is a big if you are able to shut down Saquon Barkley and limit him to, say, 80, 90 yards, and you keep him out of the end zone, that's your biggest piece, because somebody's going to have to take over in the red zone. And that's where I think it's going to be like a Goddard situation. I think Hurts is capable of finding people in the red zone.
Yeah, he is. But here's the thing. Like I said, I don't even think you have to, again, you don't have to completely shut down Saquon. He can get 150 yards, and then Hurts is going to throw up 150 yards passing. Okay, so that's 300 yards of offense. Even if he gets to 175, 200 yards, that's 350 yards of offense. Hurts doesn't throw for more.
Let's be honest, though. If Saquon is getting 150, in most instances, if your running back's getting that much, it was like in conjunction basically with you being able to at least move the ball downfield in order to open up more space for him to. I mean, that's a lot of yardage.
That's how they move the ball with him, though. That's what I'm saying.
I realize that, but you have to be able to. You got to counteract it with, when you get this deep into it, they're going to be focusing on him. I'm saying if he's able to get 150 still, then somewhere else on that offense was working. I don't think he can do it by himself. I think they can stop that.
No. What else worked last week on offense for him? What else did the Eagles do well on offense last week?
A different game.
Nothing.
That's a different
that's
game.
What I'm saying. They did nothing.
Devontae Smith.
How do you mean?
It's a different situation. It's a different situation because last week they had availability to run the ball with Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts had a good running game. So it's a totally different situation.
No, he didn't. He had 40 yards, dude.
That's not bad for a quarterback.
Yeah, but it's not
40 yards on the ground.
It's not lighting that. That's what he normally gets. He didn't have 90 yards rushing, and then Saquon had 200. And in all reality,
he had 70. He had 70 yards rushing on 7 carries last week. He was averaging 10 yards a carry and had a touchdown, and his long was 44.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. He had a 44-yard touchdown.
That's not going to be there. So
I
again,
know it's not. I know it's not. That's why I'm saying
he may not have asked for a lot.
Hey, you did your talk. I thought it was my turn to talk. You keep interrupting me, dude. Seriously, I
You're
got
asking
like
me questions.
2 minutes out because you keep interrupting me, dude. I'm talking and you just start jumping in with something. I'm like, dude, I'm still talking. You made your pick, so I'm making mine. What the hell? Yeah, so he had a 44-yard run. Take that run away. He had 6 carries for 34 yards, which is almost 6 yards a carry. That's not bad. But again, he didn't do anything. Passing wise, he had less than 200 yards. What I'm saying is, even if Saquon Barkley gets 150 yards total, which he did last week, and they get 200 yards passing, again, Hurts is not getting 70 yards rushing. His knee's hurt. That's not happening. At least it probably shouldn't. Knowing how bad the injury is, like we all saw, that shouldn't happen. Now, granted, of course it can, but then the center's hurt. So if the center's hurt too, or compromised and hurts, that definitely takes away their tush push. So again, they can get 350 yards of total offense, which is not bad for a defense to give up and lose the game. In all honesty, they came close to losing the game last week, and they were up by 14 points or 16 points with 4 minutes to go. Jaden Daniels threw 5 touchdowns on this defense. Granted, it was in Washington, but that was in, week 15 or whatever. So the Commanders are definitely comfortable against this defense. They know Saquon's going to get his yards, which will happen. He will. But I think the Eagles are too compromised to win this game. It's a hard pick. I won't touch anything else but the spread. Me and you are in total agreement. This +6 spread, I don't understand how the Commanders have gone on the road 2 times. Again, they're the only team to win a road game in these playoffs out of the whole NFL, out of 14 teams. And they've done it twice. And they slayed the number 1 seed. So I don't see how they're a +6. That line makes no sense to me. That's an anomaly. Bet the hell out of that. If you can, in your state, whatever. My state, I can't. But I love that bet. Like, they just beat them last time. They threw 5 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels is legit. So, like you said, and you mentioned the kicking game. The Eagles kicker, Elliott, yeah, he's a good kicker. He's had a lot of issues this year. The dude can make field goals, can't make extra points. Well, when does that reverse? When is it they're down by a point or the game's tied and he's got to kick a 45-yard field goal or 50-yard field goal? Does he make it? I don't know. I mean, I don't even think the Eagles have confidence in that one. It's going to be fun to watch. I think the Commanders cover that 6-point spread, though. Definitely.
All right. To rebut. Okay. So in your mentioning, you take away the 40-yard run by Jalen Hurts and you're left with 30 yards. Okay, great. You take away the 78-yard by Saquon and you're left with 127, which is pretty fucking average for what he's doing. And
yeah.
So,
it's average.
And
but
you also take in mind that Jalen Hurts doesn't usually throw for a lot of yardage. That is what he does, his bust 40-yard run. So when you can't take away one and say the other is like, okay, that's not normal either. A 78-yard run in a game, that's not a fucking like every week thing that happens.
Well,
he's done it quite a bit, but so has Jalen Hurts. So they're one and the same.
6 times this year. Yeah. Okay.
Jalen Hurts probably ran for 40 yards 6 times this year.
Saquon had 6.
Beside the point,
6
Jalen Hurts was still 15 for 20, even though he didn't throw for many yards. He didn't have to because he was busting off runs. Yeah, you do have a guy that ran 26 times for 205 yards. I get that. One of them being a 78-yard run, which you wanted to discount against Jalen Hurts. So let's just knock that right off the board because that doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, Saquon had
on the other
2
hand,
touchdowns.
On the other hand, you also had the receivers. Saquon was a huge part of the receiving game, and Goddard was huge. 4 receptions, for 56 yards, but he made big catches at big times.
Oh yeah,
Devontae didn't get a lot of yards. But what I'm saying is it is he can be formidable in the passing game, but without the running game, if without him running, you have a totally different game from what you did last week. You don't have the same scenario at all.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't think that the Eagles' passing game has been an issue all year long. Yeah, he was 15 for 20. All of his passes were those yards came from yards after the catch. So he's not throwing his deep balls not completing because AJ Brown is compromised. He's hurt in some way, shape, or form. I don't see it getting better. He may come out and go TO on us and have 150 yards receiving. That can happen. Maybe he's healed up. I don't know. Sleeping in hyperbaric chambers. That could definitely happen. The Eagles' passing game has been an issue for like the last 7-8 weeks. If Hurts can't run, and Brown, their passing game is just not set up for success. Yeah, he went 15 for 20. Okay, great. For what, 175 yards? Yay. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. If he can't run, the Commanders, I think, the whole point of this is we both agree the Commanders cover the spread. Who wins? Like, I don't really have a dog in the fight. Who cares? I'm not picking the winner. I'm picking the Commanders to cover the spread. That's most important to me.
I think the Eagles win the game. I do think the Eagles win the game.
Well, the one thing too is, the Commanders are on a 7-game winning streak. We know how we love winning streaks, and it's really hard to win 3 games on the road in the playoffs. That's why it's rarely done. Let alone from the they were the 6th seed. So, and then no rookie quarterback has ever started a Super Bowl or made a Super Bowl. There's that. So, Daniels is a rookie still. Doesn't play
Maybe
like
it's going to be the year of firsts.
I agree with that.
First rookie quarterback and then first team going for 3 in a row.
Well, they wouldn't be the first team to do it. It's rare that it happens because it's really hard to do. It's happened before. Yeah. The Steelers did it back in the day. So it's been done. It just doesn't happen very often. Like I said, the biggest thing to me is this +6 spread to me doesn't make sense because the Commanders have beaten better competition, arguably. The Lions were the best team in the NFC. That's why they were the 1 seed, and they went there and bitch slapped them. Yeah, they gave up 200 yards rushing. They still won the game. So I definitely think they can. And to that point, the Lions have a really good passing game. The Eagles do not. The Eagles do not have a good passing game at all. It's been a shit show for a long time. Would you tell me Hurts has passed for more than 220 yards like 4 times this year? Something like that?
I think it's more than that. He did it. He passed for more than 220 one time against them.
Well, the second time they played, he left the game with a concussion. So
basically, what Hurts's game is, he's actually been. For the last 6 games, he's passed at least 1 touchdown in every game.
Oh yeah,
and he doesn't throw for a lot of yards, but he's not throwing picks. He's not turning the ball over.
Yeah, that's true. Don't turn it over. Yeah,
and that's huge. If you don't turn the ball over, you're moving the ball like they move the ball, you don't have to throw. Like it's
ask the other birds. Ask the other birds. The Ravens don't turn it over, and you might win. That is true, but neither does Daniels. Don't turn it over either. So this is going to be a great game. Everybody's kind of poo-hooing it because the NFC East matchup, but hey, man, both these teams earned it. Let's watch it and enjoy it because we only got 3 football games left that matter. The Pro Bowl doesn't even matter. That's not even a game anymore. So this is going to be a good, solid NFC East clash to go to the Super Bowl. I also did see this too. Since 2010, this is the 3rd or 4th time that the NFC Championship has been same division. And again, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4. I think it was 4. And 3 of those teams have won the Super Bowl.
Hey, just to throw this in there because, dude, no team has won 3 in a row. I've just looked this up. Of the 8 previous repeat Super Bowl champions, 0 went on to claim a 3rd straight Lombardi. This would be the first time in history this happens. This is zero.
What are you
Steelers
talking
didn't
about?
win back-to-back Super Bowls.
I'm not talking about Super Bowl. I'm talking about 3 games on the road to go to the Super Bowl. The Commanders
No,
are
earlier I mentioned that we could have a first of 3 of a rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl for the first time and a possible three-peat champion.
Yeah, right.
And you said no, that's happened before.
Oh, I didn't hear the rookie playing the rookie in the Super Bowl. I was talking about a team winning 3 road games to go to the Super Bowl. That's only happened
I
a few
got
times. Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood you.
No, I was referring to the Chiefs possibly winning a third.
Oh yeah, no, you're definitely right there. I know that. Yeah, I'm saying it's rare that a wild card team wins 3 road games to go to the Super Bowl. It's happened before, but it's rare,
especially as a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Ben Roethlisberger started the Super Bowl, the 05 Super Bowl, as a rookie, but he didn't play that year. He only played because their starter got hurt in the AFC Championship game against the Patriots. So he had to play the Super Bowl. Wasn't it Neil O'Donnell? No, it wasn't him.
I think so. No, it was
who was it?
Was it?
No, it wasn't Neil O'Donnell. It was there's no way there's no way.
Wait, hold on. That was right around Cordell Stewart's time.
It wasn't around, but it wasn't Cordell Stewart though. Who was their quarterback then?
Was it Leftwich?
No. Let me see. Steelers QB 2004. Because that was Ben's rookie year. It says in 04, it was Ben and Tommy Maddox.
Tommy Maddox? They made it to the Super Bowl with Tommy Maddox?
Right?
That's a feat in itself.
Yeah, it looks like Tommy Maddox started 16 games in 03. And then Roethlisberger played 13 games in 04. Maddox played 3. And then Roethlisberger, it says postseason 1-1, but he can't go 1-1 because they won the Super Bowl. So I don't think that's right. But he was the Steelers QB in 05. It says Roethlisberger. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, it was Roethlisberger, but they're still saying that no rookie quarterback. I've been hearing it all over the sports channels. No rookie quarterbacks ever started the Super Bowl. So I don't know why they're counting Ben Roethlisberger or not counting Ben Roethlisberger in there, but I don't know.
Well,
either way, it's hard to do. And Marino did it in a second. Anyway, we got Commanders +6.
Let's get on to this next game. I want to dive into this one. Yeah, we both got Commanders +6. Again, I do think the Eagles win this game outright. I think they're the better team, more experience. They've been in this situation before. I think it's going to play a huge part. That running game, I think, is going to prevail. But +6, I love the spread bet there. But
me too.
Let's go on to that next one.
All right, and now on to the matchup we've all been waiting for. We all kind of figured it was going to happen, whether the Bills or the Ravens. Ended up being the Bills because the Ravens turned the ball over. But for the 4th time in the playoffs, we have the Bills going to the Chiefs, or the Bills playing the Chiefs. Bills 13-4, Chiefs 15-2. We all know their second loss doesn't really count. +110 on the money line, -130 for the Chiefs, over under 48.5. It's a 2-point spread. This is going to be a great game. Can't wait. Just like the Bills and Ravens were last week, this is the game of the year. This is what it should be. It's going to be so fun to watch. So many things that can go either way in this game, like most games usually. But this one has, the history involved. In the playoffs, they're 4-4 against each other. The Bills are 4-1 in the regular season. They're 0-3 in the playoffs against the Chiefs. In the Mahomes-Allen era, it's going to be great football to watch. I'm glad they put this on the primetime game because it deserves it. I really am going back and forth in this game because there's arguments on both sides. Like, to me, watching football all these years, it's hard to bet against greatness. It really is. Mahomes and the Chiefs, I mean, I know some people don't like it. You can hate on them all you want, but they're a great team. They're a dynasty. Tried and true. They just figure out ways to win. The point of the game is win. Whether you're winning 35-3 or 21-20 on a blocked field goal or blowing teams out, doesn't matter. Win the game. That's all anybody remembers. Did you win it? Not how many yards you throw for, how many touchdowns you throw for. Did you win the game? That's all that matters. Mahomes is just like Tom Brady. He finds ways to win games. That's what happens. Chiefs are going for something unprecedented. Nobody's ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Nobody's been to 3 Super Bowls in a row in 50 years. So I can't wait to see how this happens, what goes down, what plays aside it. The Bills have a lot of momentum going on. They just won a tough road game, a tough game against the Ravens. So we'll see what happens. The one thing, again, I don't really want to bet the winner or loser. That's hard to pick. Of course, I'll make a pick, but I'm not going to bet it. I'll just tell you who I think is going to win. And I'll tell you right now, I think the Chiefs win because Mahomes just figures it out. The Bills have had a great season. Josh Allen should win MVP, might win MVP. Yes, Lamar Jackson is in the conversation as well. Saquon should belong there too. But I think Lamar takes it home. However, Allen's had a solid year, man. He's on a mission. We talked about turnovers discussing the last game and what happened with the Bills and the Ravens last week. That's going to come into play. Allen has played flawless football. He's been perfect. He hasn't turned the ball over in 11 games. We always talk about winning streaks. Commanders have won the last 7 in a row. Lamar, I said, threw 4 interceptions all year long. What happened last week? He had 2 turnovers. Mahomes has been pretty clean he had a rough start to the year, but he's been pretty clean recently. He still might turn it over here or there, but Allen's gone 11 games in a row without a turnover. So how apropos would it be for him to turn the ball over in the worst possible game, at the most inopportune time? It just always seems that's something that happens to the Bills when they play the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have the mojo. And I just see the Chiefs bringing this one home and going to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. That being said, you can go to the flip side. Chiefs have played a lot of football over the last 6 years. Like we discussed in previous videos, physiologically, in any sport, that catches up to people, and they lose. The Patriots look like world beaters throughout the years. Well, then they went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl. That's the longest in between Super Bowl wins that one quarterback has gone. And everybody says, well, the Chiefs aren't dominant this year like they have been in the past. Well, they weren't dominant last year either. They kind of did the same thing. They, ball control, stay on task, don't turn the ball over, don't make big mistakes at bad times, and their defense takes them home. So there's a lot of things going into this game, man. And to that point, I was trying to say is the Patriots' best teams didn't win the Super Bowl. Their 18-0 team didn't win the Super Bowl. And they lost. Actually, both the Patriots teams that lost to the Giants in Super Bowls were probably their best teams they ever had, and they did not win the Super Bowl. So you don't have to be, killing on offense, scoring 40 points a game to win. The Chiefs have proven that. But I can also see it being like this. To that point, the one year when Peyton Manning got his Super Bowl, he was down 21-3 to the Patriots at home. Guess what? He came back, got the best of Tom Brady that year, and won his first Super Bowl. And then guess what happened? He didn't win another Super Bowl with the Colts. He had to leave and go to the Broncos, and he only won that Super Bowl because they had a killer defense. So I can definitely see Allen finally climbing the mountain and getting past his Mahomes kryptonite and making it to the Super Bowl. And then the Chiefs coming back and winning, like another 1 or 2, 3, 4 years in the next 3 or 4 years. That can definitely happen. I just think the one stat that scares me is the 11 games in a row with no turnovers for Josh Allen. As he's progressed throughout his career, yes, he has gotten a lot better at taking care of the ball. He was all willy-nilly. He was a turnover machine in his first few years. He has cleaned that up, and the dude's a stud. You can't deny it. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. For a reason, he deserves it. But when push comes to shove, Lamar Jackson got a little nervous last week. He took his little sail and he crushed it. And he ended up turning the ball over twice. He loves it. He loves it, but he just wants it so bad. And it ended up, he got nervous and he fell apart in the playoff game, which he's known to do. Josh Allen versus the Chiefs in the playoffs anyway, is known to do the same thing. So I see that happening again, man, where he's going to be like, I'm going to make a Super Bowl. Oh, no, interception. Oh, pick six. Oh, shit, fumble. Fuck. Nah, I'm losing again. I can just see that happening easily. Very easily seeing that happening. And Mahomes is going to, ride out of town just like he always is. Kelsey, Taylor, come on. We're going to New Orleans. I just see that happening. I mean, it's just the way it goes, man. It's just the way it goes for the Bills. Again, I'm not saying I want it to happen. If the Bills win the Super Bowl, it'd be great. And what I was saying earlier, the Commanders are the only road team to win a playoff game this year. They've done it twice. Football, as a linear sport, just overall, man, home teams are 8-2 in the playoffs. And the same team has won both road games. That normally doesn't happen. It does not happen. So I can easily see the Bills pulling this out. But if history has taught me anything, you just don't bet against arguably the greatest of all time. And Mahomes is certainly in that conversation already. So I think the Chiefs somehow, some way, a block field goal, or how about this one for you? How about the Bills missing wide right for a game-winning field goal? That would be pretty epic.
Oh, man.
Or maybe best case scenario, wide left. I don't know. Let's do something different this time. Because they missed wide right in the Super Bowl and a couple other times in big playoff games. So I don't know.
Stinger.
But yeah. Again, I'm not knocking the Bills fans. Trust me, I get it. I'm a sports fan too, and my home teams, there's one in particular struggled to get on the mountaintop for 50 fucking years. So I definitely understand how it goes. But I just, again, Chiefs at home, I think they have enough to get it done because their defense is so good. You can run on them, and they have some deficiencies, but I'm not sold on the Bills' position players aside from Allen. Cook is a good running back. He gets 14 carries a game. Okay, he's not Saquon. They got some other good pieces, that are going to make some hay, but the receivers are nil. Shakir is going to get his 5-6 catches for 50 yards like he always does. And Kincaid and Knox, whatever, the Bills' defense has definitely stepped up. I'll give them props for that. But the Ravens controlled that game last week by a lot. So, and as good as Lamar's been, he doesn't have the chops that Mahomes has. He just doesn't. Stats are stats. They're great. Fill them up as much as you want. Awesome. Win the game. I don't care. Win the game. If there were 400 yards or 150, did you win? Win it. Doesn't matter. Just win the game. And Mahomes has proven time and time again That's what he does. And the Chiefs, one thing about them too is the Bills are not a great rush defense. The Chiefs running game cannot take advantage of that, and they won't. Their running game is pretty putrid. They're going to give Kareem Hunt and Pacheco each 10 carries. They're both going to get 30 yards on their carries. So they're going to run for like 60 yards. But what does Mahomes do in these big games, especially in the playoffs? He's going to boss up a 35-yard on you that's going to break your back. That's what he always does, and even in the regular season. Oh, we got him down as 3rd and 10, when they're losing. Mahomes drops back, takes off 35 yards, first down, kick a game-winning field goal, whatever. That's Mahomes' magic. He always does it, especially in the playoffs. So I see him doing it again here in this game, and they win. And then if they win, which I think they will, but either way it goes, I have a fun bet that you probably can't find anywhere. It's a little out there, but I thought of it because everybody complains about how the Chiefs get the calls and, the refs love the Chiefs and this and that, yada, yada, yada. It's been that way throughout sports history. In any sport, you can go back and say, that should have been called, that should have been called. The Bills have had quite a few beefs over the years playing the Chiefs. So I'm sure there's some odd sports book out there in Vegas that has this, but I thought of it myself. So I say over 2.5 questionable penalties that the Bills fans are going to bitch about. Win or lose. If they win, they're going to say, oh, man, you know what? We overcame. If this and this and this wasn't called, man, it wouldn't even been close. We'd have blown them out. And if they lose, they say, well, it's because we touched Mahomes and we got an unnecessary roughness penalty, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's just nonstop. Same thing with Tom Brady. Couldn't touch Tom Brady. And I get it. I don't like the Patriots dynasty as much as the next guy does. Trust me. Can't stand it. But, it's been quite a while, so kind of get over it. But in the moment, trust me, I understand. I have friends who are hardcore Bills fans and are very much rooting for the Bills to win. I wouldn't mind seeing it happen. I wouldn't mind seeing the Chiefs win because either way, we're going to see something we haven't seen in a long time. Chiefs make it their 3rd straight Super Bowl. Hasn't happened in 50 years. Bills make their first Super Bowl in 30 years. So over 30 years. So either way, we see something that hasn't happened in decades. And if I could find a place to bet what I just put up there, the 2.5 questionable calls, I would bet that. That's actually my favorite one. But I'll wrap it up by saying this. I believe the Chiefs, Mahomes' magic is real. Somehow, some way, he finds a way to win the game. And if you're really feeling like you want to bet, over, under, or spread, the spread's 2 points. I don't like that. You over under 40.5, it's going to be pretty cold in KC. I don't really see them scoring a lot of points because both these defenses are pretty good. In neither offense, I know the Bills scored a lot of points. I get it. They went on the road and, put up 48 on the Lions. Yeah, I get it. I don't see either one of these teams scoring over 27 points, 28 points. So if you want to, I think 27-21, 24-21 is going to be the final score in this game. Again, I wouldn't bet it, but I would pick the under in the game just to say, toss something out there for you guys. Again, I wouldn't touch the over-under. It's too wishy-washy for me, but I think it's going to hit the under. Brady, what about you?
So just to kind of go with you and against you, I don't like the fact that we've got a big fat goose egg on one side for the Chiefs with that 8-0. That is just it is screaming out to me that that's a lot of games at home. I understand the home field advantage. I do. I get it. I mean, it used to be the biggest team back in the 10 years ago. It was like the Seahawks, the 12th man, and that's pretty much disappeared. Now,
hey, real quick. Hey, sorry to interrupt you, but real quick to your point, and I was talking to some other people about this. I don't think that home field advantage in any sport is what it used to be. Would you agree with that? I don't think it's as big of a factor as it used to be. That's what I'm saying.
I think when you get to this stage where you're talking about a conference championship, and being that Kansas City is, when you're talking about football in particular, I think it does play a little bit of a part just because it's so loud. Sometimes it just affects the whole side of the offense, like whether it's timing the snap, getting, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. And I do think in this particular instance, the Chiefs probably do have that home field type advantage like that. I think out of all the teams in the playoffs, if the Bills were at home, I would say the same thing about the Bills. I think the Bills have it when they're at home. Here, I think it does favor the Chiefs in that realm. But like I said, 8-0, man, that is a tough. When you get down to that, that's kind of like right along that same thing that I used to say. You need to lose. Now, I didn't necessarily mean you need to throw the game just to lose.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't really necessarily talking about that. But in this particular instance, when I see that 0, I'm a little bit scared of that one too, because I see zeros go all the time, every weekend in fighting, and every time that I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that's going to be he's definitely going to have a 0 after his name after this fight. And, it screwed me last weekend. So anytime I see that, man, I get scared and I want to run into that 0 hole and disappear. So I think that is a scary number. And I also did look. You are right about the Josh Allen and the streak of not turning the ball over. But
I know I'm right. That's why I said it.
There is also a streak going on the other side of that ball that the other quarterback has not turned the ball over in 7 straight consecutive games.
I knew it was like 5 or 6. I knew it was a while. So it's been 7. Okay. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about a man who hasn't turned it over in 11 straight, and before that through 6 at the beginning of the season, basically.
Right.
And then compared to somebody who hasn't thrown him in the last 7 and through 11.
11.
Up to that period. So at this point,
playing craps 7-11.
Looking at those 2 numbers, I get it. I get the 2. I get it because I don't like the longer streak either. But I think actually I trust Josh Allen a little bit more in this particular situation, not to turn the ball over because of his running ability and his ability to, anytime he doesn't feel like he can make the throw, to take off. Now, I'm not saying, I think it has a lot to do with why he hasn't turned the ball over very much. Patrick Mahomes can too. I'm not saying he can't. He can, just like you said, he can bust off a 25-yarder and break your back when you least expect it. And you're totally right. But he also has that tendency to think, because he does have the ability sometimes to make some amazing throws. And sometimes that can get you in trouble because you're so good that you start over crediting your ability and the defensive people's ability to not be able to stop what you're doing. Yep. And sometimes that can work against you. And I think the whole you've also got a streak of the Bills just absolutely faulting every single time you get into a big moment. And you're talking about a place that needs a hero. This is a football city. Remember, Buffalo, I know they have hockey, and I know they're huge there too, but they've got championships there. You've got this is the team.
No, they don't.
Boston or Buffalo Sabres?
No, they would never won a cup.
Oh,
no.
My bad.
Yeah.
I guess I would get them mixed up with crosstown rivals. Okay, so you're talking about desperately in need of a title in this town. So again, I do have bets in on this thing. So, and unfortunately, I keep taking these fucking bets and then they get better. I wish that I would have the strength to just hold off for a second. Right. But I keep thinking No,
Patience, young
is gonna go
Padawan.
against me. It's gonna go against me. And then next thing you know, here it is. So I am going to go, and I think this is a great money line bet. I'm gonna take the Bills, man, because look, I get the greatness. I definitely understand the whole thing. But listen, the Patriots were great too when they went to an undefeated season and then made it to the Super Bowl. Great team. And you definitely were not thinking that the New York Giants were going to come in and beat the Patriots that year in that Super Bowl. You thought it was just destined to happen. Just like we all think, hey, maybe it's just destined to happen. And hey, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. And the Chiefs are definitely a great team. Great defense, great quarterback, great offensive overall personnel, great coach. It's all there. I just think that at some point it's gonna change. There's gonna be somebody has to step in. It happens all the time. It hasn't been done before for a reason. And I hold on. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. My pick is gonna be Bills money line. And I like the spread too. I think it's a safe pick, but I think they win this game. I think they get their first.
Well, no.
I think they get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can see it happening. That's why I was saying, the Patriots made 3 out of 4 Super Bowls and won them in the early 2000s, and then Peyton Manning finally got over this Tom Brady hump, and won his Super Bowl. In this scenario, obviously Mahomes is Brady and Josh Allen is Manning, and then it doesn't mean the Chiefs run if they lose this game. Doesn't mean their run's over with. Mahomes is 29 years old, man. He's still got 10 more years. At least, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So just this one year could be the Bills' year. And then, next year, 2-3 years from now, Mahomes and the Chiefs make another Super Bowl or another 2. I can definitely see that happening. That's why it's so wishy-washy for me. I mean, there's so many factors, and it's fascinating. Like, I can't wait to watch it and see how it plays out. I can definitely see it happening.
This is going to be fantastic. Just the narrative of it is awesome.
And
sometimes these games live up to their billing, and sometimes they don't. I hope this one does.
And not gonna lie, I'm gonna go back to the road teams again. So let's say the Bills and the Commanders win this game, both win. That still makes the home teams 8-4. That's a 66% winning percentage. That's usually where the league average falls. It's actually probably a little less. It's like 62, 61. So that falls right in line. And it'd be a rematch of the Bills and Bills' second Super Bowl. Bills and Commanders.
There you go.
Right?
Dude,
right?
That would be crazy. If both underdogs won, that'd be nuts.
Yeah. That to me, and again, one of these road teams is going to win, just like I said last week. Now, last week I did say 2 were going to win. The Ravens should have won that game, so I should have been right, but they did not. And the Rams almost made it close. The Texans small little things. You change one thing in each game, man, the outcomes are different. So I can definitely see the Bills and Commanders both winning. Rematch of Super Bowl, whatever it was. it was a 1991 season, I can tell you that. Whatever Super Bowl that was, 24, 25, whatever it was. But it was a 91 season. I do know that. Mm-hmm. For sure, it was a 91 season. Because the next 2 years, 92 and 93 seasons, the Cowboys won. Then the Niners, then the Cowboys again. So it was a 91 season, quote-unquote 92 Super Bowl. So I guess that's Super Bowl 26, 27, whatever it was. It's going to be great to watch, though. I cannot wait to see it. It's going to be so much fun to watch these games, man. And it's 2 awesome quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen, Mahomes, tossing Lamar Jackson, too. They're the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning of this era. It's great entertainment to watch. I mean, unfortunately, only one team can win. And to be perfectly honest, we just saw the Chiefs and Eagles play 2 years ago. And we saw the Eagles in the Super Bowl, what was it, 6 years ago or 7 years ago against the Patriots? So I'm also not opposed to, teams that have never won, Bills, or teams that haven't won in a long time, Commanders. I'm also down with them. I just want to see good, entertaining football and see how much people complain about the refs. I did see a meme on Facebook too. It's like, hey, Josh Allen and the Bills are going to play the Chiefs, man. There's no way, no team's gonna lose 4 important games in a row.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
4
dude, I feel the same. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see something different in there. I know, I have a bunch of family members, best friends that are, Chiefs fans, and I get it, but I was a Lions fan and I got smashed last week.
Yeah, I mean, that's on side note with that one. They just lost both their coordinators too, so I don't know if the Lions are going to be able to keep their run going, and I don't know if their quarterback's good enough to get over the hump. But that's a topic for another, day.
That is, I know,
I
know, but you're still now playing with Caleb Williams. Good luck with that piece of shit.
That's what I was wondering too. I'm like, why would you take that job? But anyway, yeah, that's definitely a discussion for another day. But this game, man, and like I said, man, the Buffalo Bills fans, we all know they deserve it. They've been around forever, and they've had heartbreak after heartbreak. Shit, the Music City Miracle. I haven't even seen anybody mention that one in this week, talking about, the game. Nobody's even mentioned that. And I watch a lot and I read a lot about sports, particularly football during this time of year. Nobody's even mentioned that heartbreak. I mean, good Lord, you lose on the kickoff, 6 seconds to go or whatever. I mean, they score a touchdown on a quote unquote forward pass or backwards pass, lateral, whatever. Probably a forward pass. I don't know. Today's replays, replay rules, it probably gets overturned. You never know. But it's going to be so much fun to watch. Cannot wait.
Definitely. It's going to be awesome. So what everybody's been waiting for, I don't know if Josh has them in right now. I don't know what he's started with, but I was able to get some of these bets in a little bit early. Probably not when I always tell people, wait, hold off, because things will change, and then I don't even take my own advice. So some of them you can get a little bit better now than I got, but I did put together some. I'm not getting carried away here, I don't think, but these things are hit or miss. The parlays, I always tell you, you're better off to go with one straight up pick, which I do feel like you are. But again, a parlay is so fun. It's hard to get off of them when you can possibly put 2 things together that you think are going to hit and get a bigger jump up than what you normally would. I don't know. I'm a sucker for it. Can't resist. And plus, some of those little bets that I put in for single money too, they aren't hitting either. So might as well throw one out there to the wind. I've hit a couple NBA parlays today. So, fuck. It's just weird how that stuff works out. But here's what we did. 2 picks on DraftKings that I put together, got plus 173. Like I said, you'll get better than that, I think, now, because the Bills money line has gone better odds in the plus range. But Bills money line, I think now it's at plus 110. And then, like I said, we both agreed that we liked the plus 6 spread. So I just added 6.5 onto that with the Commanders. This could be one of those that obviously, I'm stacking it more on the Bills. That gives you the plus money right away. And of course I could have taken that just as a single bet or done something a little bit safer, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. A lot of times when you stack your money on certain one thing to happen, which I will discuss in another video, sometimes it can backfire on you. But we also have the next one, 4 picks plus 114 on DraftKings. We have Patrick Mahomes, 200 passing yards. I think this is something that he should do in this particular game.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, the running game is not the greatest right now. I'm still not completely sold that Pacheco's back to complete health the way he used to be. He's not back to that yet. And Hunt, although I do like him, he's capable of busting off 60 yards. I don't know if he'll do it here. And I think it'll be more put on Patrick Mahomes to win or lose this game based on his arm. That's just my theory. When you're in big games like this, put it on your superstar. He's the superstar, not Hunt. 200 plus passing yards there. Josh Allen, 25 plus rushing yards. If you look back at his career in playoff games, he normally does rush for 25 rushing yards. I know last week I put in for this. He missed it by about 3 fucking yards and blew my parlay. But sometimes you got to go back to the well. I think this is a good opportunity to go back to the well because I think he's going to see pressure, and I think he's going to have to scramble out of it. I think he's going to get loose for at least 1 or 2 big carries and get this 25 yards, regardless if they're big carries. I think 5 to 10 yards per carry is something that's within his range. So a few of those, I think we get to 25 easy. Dallas, Goddard, 25 receiving yards. I think he's going to have to be a big target for Hurts in this situation. Again, we talked about A.J. Brown and his health. Don't know if he's fully there. So depending on what his situation are, he's also probably going to be covered by Lattimore, like we were talking. So that's going to be a big detraction. If Mike Evans is never getting big stuff off of Lattimore, then I would definitely think that A.J. Brown and an injured A.J. Brown at that isn't going to be much more effective against somebody to that level, especially in a game like this where he's playing for it all. He wants to win that shit. So I think that Goddard is going to have to be an option below, him and Saquon. I think Saquon's going to be receiving a lot too in this game. So 25 receiving yards, I don't think is out of question for Goddard. 4 receptions is what I'm seeing him for. And I think he gets probably around 40 yards, actually. Eckler, 2+ receptions. He's a huge part of this passing game right now. So 2 receptions. I didn't want to take any yardage just in case he's not reaching that, but 2 receptions. I think, in my opinion, he's going to be one of the leading receptions on the night receivers as far as like a target amount. And I think he's going to be a big part of this offense. So 2 receptions, I think, is definitely doable. All this plus 114 on DraftKings. I honestly like this one probably the most out of all of the ones that I put together, just based on, I don't know. I don't think any of them are long shots. And I think these are things that almost have to happen in these games for these people to win. Next up.
I was saying real quick to your point, Eckler. Against the Eagles, I think he missed one of the games, but they were saying the like 20 yards receiving he gets every game for them to be. And he had 80-yard receiving against them in one of their games, 8 catches, 80 yards, something like that. So his 2 catches are money. I like that. I'm probably going to use that in one of my parlays and underdog too, for sure.
I've been putting together more. These are the early ones that I was managing to just throw in. I'm definitely taking pieces of these and putting them together. I really like something between Eckler getting like a 2 receptions, maybe 20 yards. And this would be kind of like in your my way. If I took it and I broke it down, I'd probably do Eckler like 2 receptions, 20 yards. The only thing about my way is when you put 2 players, if you put Eckler in for 2 different things, they'll they won't give you the same type of odds. If I was to take 2 separate players and say they get 25 yards and they get 2 receptions, then my odds greatly increases. If I take just Eckler, then it's for some reason it's just kind of like fuck you. So I would love to be able to take Eckler, 2 receptions, 25 receiving yards, and then put it with Barkley, 20 carries. Yeah, that to me is a great one. And I also like Daniel's 1 touchdown. Put that together, I think that's a winning parlay as well.
We threw 5 last game.
Yeah,
I know. Against the Eagles.
Normally does throw. I mean, 1 is not too much to ask. He has to do it. He has to do it for him to even have a chance. Right. And then I did put in the Bills. I got him at plus 105. Like I said, now you'll get him at plus 110 on DraftKings. So whichever way you want to go with that. Even if you want to bet against it, if you want to fade me, do it and bet on the Chiefs, because I would do it. If you're going to bet the Chiefs, then do it now. Get it in now, because that Chiefs line may get worse. Because I thought the Bills would get a little bit closer and possibly be a pick 'em. It actually did the exact opposite. But I would say that it's probably going to get hit and it's going to go back down a little bit. So if you're on the Bills, get them at plus 110 or 115 right now. And then if it goes up, if you feel that confident, take them again, because you'll get better. Then if they go down, you still got in there. And then if you're a Chiefs fan, wait for it to go back down, because I think you're going to go back down as well. The last one, 3 picks, plus 124 DraftKings. I took the Bills plus 4.5 spread. I think they keep it within a field goal no matter what. I think this game is going to come down to a possible field goal to end it. Like you said, wide right. So if they end up fucking losing by 3, then Bills plus 4.5. I could also see it being one of those situations. If that happens, they have to tie it up. Somebody has to tie it up. So if they do it or they miss it, whatever, there you get it. So Bills plus 4.5 spread is what I'm going with on this one. Barkley, 20 rushing attempts, and Jaden Daniels, 1 passing touchdown. Like I said, that Bills plus 4.5 spread is what I see as a very risky piece of this. So, and since I do have the Bills in fucking everything now that I'm looking at it, I would probably take the 20 rushing attempts and Jaden Daniels, 1 passing touchdown, and do something with Eckler from the last one, just to have another parlay that, and I probably am going to do this, put him with like Mahomes, even 150 yards, or take something from like Goddard, 15 receiving yards, Eckler, 1 reception, 2 receptions, whatever you can get. But that's what I'm going with on that. And that is the breakdowns and the bets that we have in so far. I'm sure we will put in more.
That's all we had to say about that.
Know, man. That's all we got to say about that one. But I'll tell you what, these are going to be great games. Enjoy, get together with your friends, your family, cook some food, enjoy the food, eat hearty, and enjoy 2 back-to-back games of what is going to be our final interconference games. I guess that we're not interconference, but we're non-interconference. Yeah, there you go. So enjoy these 2 bangers, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed what we've broken down for you and the bets we've got. If we get any more, I'm getting better at this shorts, putting out just quick bets. I'm trying. I put in a lot of these things, and sometimes I don't always have time other than trying to get other shit going, breaking it down. But I'll try and get these bets out, working on it to where we will put out more content as we go. But loved hanging out, Josh. It's been fun. We will we'll be back in the Super Bowl.
Like and subscribe.
Maybe we'll do a couple extra shows for Super Bowl. Super Bowl week.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, and yes, hit the like and subscribe. Definitely let us know in the comments section who you're picking in these games. Keep with us, and we will see you next time. Enjoy the games. Peace.
Deuces.